Look who we have here today. We got the Gid. We got SH. Hello to you. Hello to everybody. What up, Mr. Matt Downer? Matt's probably gearing up for another hike, or did a hike. Great to have you guys in the chat. We are talking today about social media and how it destroys men and women, especially men. We got Spike in the house. Good to see you. Cesar is in the house. What up, yo? Social media is destroying men and women. Yes or no? I think that the rise of anxiety, head meds, depression, all of the different types of mental disorders, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, if you want to say narcissism, it's based on the false idea of social media. That social media is something that is an attention, what we call it, is basically siphoning as much attention as possible with these people, and that do it. Men and women can no longer not receive likes and feel good about themselves. They have to get likes. The more likes, the better. They don't get the likes, they get depressed, they get back on head meds, their life's horrible. And it's the truth. It is turning women and men so far away from who they truly are, and society is suffering. Broken families, broken relationships, no one trusts, no one is loyal. Everything's based on a complete false premise. Facts, I only use social media for promoting my business. Good for you. That's all you should use it for. That's all you should use it for. Now, there are forums. There is a mountain bike forum that I subscribe to that basically tells me when the trails, who's ridden the trails, and if they're clean, if they're muddy, if they're good to go after a rainstorm, or if there's snow at the top, when we're coming out of spring. So I do use it for that, and only that. And every now and again, if there's a restaurant in town, like they'll give you $20 off a dinner if you sign up through their. But I have a fake book account with a fake name, and I have like one friend on it. I don't even know who that friend is, but that's it. That's all I use it for. Other than that, and I say use it for those types of those instances, those circumstances. I mean, if you're using it to get attention, that's the problem with it, is just basically seeks attention and validation from others. Again, what have we always talked about? External validation will lead to suffering. That is all it is. So the more you're on social media, the more external validation you seek, the more suffering. And it's not hard to look at. It's a complete false idea of making somebody happy. And I've gone round and round with friends about this. Oh, it's used for good things. Okay, well, there's possibility of good things. Maybe this issue with the missing potato. Maybe there's tips and things that people can share. So I get that. I'm not saying all of it, but majority reason why people go on it and what happens to people when they go on it is not a good road to go down. Garuda Ghost, the likes that women get on social media is a mental orgasm. Correct. Good to have you, brother. Garuda Ghost, all the way from Europe. Lucas Hong is in the house again. Good to see you, brother. And social media would never be meant for either image, attention, or vanity. 100%, Matt. And that's the true reality. It is caused. I know a psychologist. He was my neighbor before I got divorced, and he counseled, his practice was based around 7 to 11-year-olds that were addicted to certain things. And he said that the rise of anxiety with 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds was out of control. Parents wanted to put them on medications at that age, and he said no. He would talk to them, and it all fueled by screens. Because I asked him one day, I said, well, why is the rise? Is it video games? He goes, it's screens. There's iPads, phones. These kids have so many options that they don't know where to go. And then they get so bombarded, they get stuck and glued. I mean, it's literally turning people into zombies, what the screens are doing. It really is. Everyone's becoming myopic. Our eyes weren't meant to look at screens this close to our face. We're turning myopic. Our attention span is less. We have a lot more interference and chaotic types of, circumstances that are hitting us at all angles. It's just ridiculous. It just makes no sense. It's literally destroying men and women, especially relationships. Beautiful Life is in the house. Good to see you all the way from Laguna Beach, running those stairs. SH, I'm turned off by social media women that only promote their body and their full faces of makeup. And that is what you're seeing. You're seeing, it's literally posed profile pictures now. When I first had it years ago, I only didn't have it very long. My wife got me into it. I thought it was all right at first. I don't know if you guys remember Friendster or MySpace, but that eventually turned into Facebook. However, it seemed things were different then. People were just connecting with old classmates and kids you grew up with in the neighborhood or so. And then it just has morphed into this whacked out, hey, look at me, I'm cool. It's a political infestation of ideas from both the right and the left. It promotes the agenda that we've talked about. It just doesn't bring any sort of value to anyone's life. Now, my parents and my sisters and brothers are on it. I'm not on it, so I don't see their video or their, the videos and pictures and things like that, which is what I choose. If they want to send that to me, they can send me an email. Before social media, you didn't see that crap either, right? Lisa Smith from KC in the house. Good to see you. Video games should stay a vice because excessive use can prove mentally fatal. 100%, Matt, 100%. It is literally turning kids into zombies. Kids today can't speak. So if you have sons or daughters, especially sons, if they're on video games, it takes, again, it's all false. Kids today speak through their phones. They speak through text. They speak through chats. It's very difficult for them to have a modern day conversation with pleasantries and correct sentences and things like that and questions. And, they just have a difficult time speaking, especially at their peers. I don't know if you've ever seen kids today, but teenagers will all gather in a room and then they'll text each other when they can talk next to them. It's the damnedest thing. But absolutely, I mean, video games, screens are basically taking over. They're destroying. If we go that further, you've got to have some moderation in all things. Now, do I say video games are horrible? No, but if you're playing them for 15 hours a day, that's not good either. If you're on social media for 15 hours a day, atrocious eyesight going myopic is totally legit. Look up endomyopia. Oh, absolutely. Atrocious. Good to have you in the house. You're absolutely right. Our eyes are getting worse and worse and worse because they weren't meant to focus on a small rectangle 6 inches in front of our eyes. Well said. What's going on, Rad? Benjamin Starks from Chicago. Good to see you. I never owned a social media account ever. I always saw it an ego trip. Good for you. Teddy Boy Smith from the UK is in the house. Good to have you. Social media is really bad for people who don't know what they're doing. It's for people that are complacent. It's for folks that literally, all it is an external validation. I wouldn't even call it a tool. It's an external validation grinder. It's grinding people up. People suffer. I mean, can you imagine where in 10 years, let's take a look at the 18 to 23-year-olds today. In 10 years, their lives revolve around likes and emojis, where they're going to be at mentally and, from a mature standpoint in 10 years. And those people will eventually be the ones that will govern us. I mean, you can't fix stupid. Edward Michael, I believe it plays a huge part in the narcissism, especially with women and all the options they have. And the temporary attitude towards relationships, immorality is so common. Well said and well put together, that thought. It fuels it. Take a look at Mark Zuckerberg. Take a look at what he looks like. He just looks like the guy that's like almost zombie looking, Now he's also, an MIT guy, probably extremely smart, but there's something behind those eyes that just seems to me, I don't know. They all look kind of weird, they all of these social media folks that have pushed and they're billionaires. There's something about it that just doesn't look, well, when I see pictures of him, he just doesn't seem like a welcoming face. That's all I can say. Maybe the anxiety got to him too. Rad, I have a question that's not related to the topic, but after a hard separation, I finally saved tons of money. What kind of stocks are a good deal? Would like to build wealth. Thanks again. We've talked about this. Wine stocks. Wine stocks have done very well. Alcoholic stocks. I would say anything that people consume. If you take the Warren Buffett approach, Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines, Hilton, Marriott, very basic things that that are growing, companies that are growing. So you might not make a ton of money, but in 15, 20 years, you're going to see some returns. And that's what I would tell you. And index funds are good, right? The S&P is good to invest in. The S&P has shown it's had better gains than quite a few other options. Where I work, all the youngsters are on their phones. They are addicted. Out here too, brother. Out here too. What screws us up most in life is the picture we have in our heads of how it's supposed to be. Families, relationships, quality of life, social media sets an unrealistic expectation. Well said, Cesar. Well said. Grew to Ghost, women are trapped inside the matrix. Social media is a matrix within the matrix, a smaller bubble within that big bubble. Boom. Well said, Guru to Ghost. It is. And it's literally, I remember when we got my daughter her phone. It was 9 years ago when we got her kind of a dumb phone because I didn't want her addicted. All her friends had iPhones. They were iPhone 4s at the time, I think. So very early on, I just didn't want all of that. I wanted her to be able to text us and call us and maybe have very minimal, access to the internet. But I always feared that she would become addicted. And I was right. She became addicted. Her mom got her the iPhone. And well, when a woman gets an iPhone, it's over, especially today. Hey, Rad, ladies and gents, Robert A. in the house. Looking forward to the topic. Got rid of my Facebook. Good. Thief of time. I think Robert just hit it on the head. Gives people a false sense of reality. It is a waste of time. It takes every minute you're on social media is 1 minute you'll never get back. Well said, Robert. Buy stock in cat food, says Lisa. Purina's growing as well, SH. Take a look at Purina. I don't think I could handle being on social media. It probably leads to a lot of anxiety, worrying what others think or why they never liked or made contact. Sounds like a nightmare. You're absolutely right. It destroys men and women. Let's just say there's a gal that posts a picture. She gets 1,000 likes. She feels good about herself. Oh my gosh, someone thought I took a great picture. They liked it. 2 days later, she posts another picture. She gets 100 likes. They go now and they go and delete those pictures and those posts because of the disparity between tons of likes and less likes. It's ridiculous. Everything is based on an external validation from somebody else. Not because they wanted to share the picture and didn't give a crap about likes. They only care about what garners likes. It's like subscribers on YouTube that want more and more subscribers and subscribers and subscribers. And they validate themselves through subs. Now people say, hey, Your channel should be growing. I don't really want it growing. I can't even talk to the people if it was huge, like Greg Adams or somebody else. And by then it just, the message gets skewed if it's that big. People change. So, but there's a lot of the content creators that only seek after subscribers. Now, some do it for money. I get it. They need more views and more subs, blah, blah, blah. Which good for them. Kevin Samuels has 1 million plus subscribers. He puts out a good product. He should be making good money for it. I do not want to make money off this. This is ridiculous. This is something we share with each other, and I learn from you just as you learn from me. Matt Downer, there should be a Social Media Freaks Anonymous because the Matrix is buzzing something worse. You're absolutely right. I've heard that there's an internet recovery group where people that are addicted to the internet go. I heard about it a couple of years ago, but I don't know where that is today. David Castro, what's up, Rad? In my opinion, social media is to blame for women's hypergamous behavior. Well, I would agree with that. A lot of cheating. I know lots of people that cheated through social media, family members. It just doesn't lead to very positive relationships with yourself or with others. Because if you're seeking validation, you don't have a good relationship with yourself. Well said, David. Lucas Hong, I'm the rare few millennial that likes to be out there doing stuff. You are rare, my friend. Most people my age live in a virtual world. Look what the tech companies are doing. They now want you to buy expensive Oculus, what are they called? Virtual reality headsets. They don't even want you leaving the house. Because again, think about this. Media and technology is subconsciously changing society based on a direction or a narrative, an agenda. So what do you think those video games and those virtual reality headsets that are getting in your head doing also, not only to your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind? Talk about a control mechanism. People look at it, oh, it's entertainment, it's wonderful. I could swim with sharks in an ocean. At the same time, it's putting shit in your brain. Think about that. Alex M., I greatly agree with today's topic. As Paul Wagoneer said once, unless it's making you money, there's no reason to have social media. It's poison. Very well said, Alex. Absolutely. Good to have you. Mars in the house, what up? Here's something funny, crazy. I was at the store singing an old song called The Internet is for Prawn. The females rolled their eyes, but the men were laughing. Yeah, let's take a look what it's done to the men. The men also become weaker. The testosterone is 30. Guys today have 30% less testosterone attributed to sitting down, to not moving, right? It also has effed their brains up through porn. It's rewired their brain. So it hasn't, social media and all that jazz, social media platforms and the internet technology hasn't helped men either. It goes both ways. So why would a guy need a girl? Because he's got access to the internet. But yet a woman doesn't really need a guy either because she's got lots of options and orbiters and people that surround her with validation and likes and could care less about the physical relationship. Or if she needed physical, she could find within her list of friends 20 guys that would come over in an instant and take care of her. Modern day relationships just don't seem to be working out because of it. Jeremy Bailey in the UK. Good to see you, brother. I've not caught a live stream in a while, but I've been catching up. Good. Got rid of my Facebook when my ex was using it to rub it in my face. I remember at the time I deleted mine and the ex, she's still on it like crazy, and she would post the exact same things. It was almost as though there was these cryptic messages, how great her life was. But good for you, man. Isn't your life happier, Jeremy? Social media has given women unlimited options for the salami subway. Salami subway for 300 Trebek. Damn right, Teddy boy. Social media is fake. Check out my video, Artificial Island of Delusion. I will. Everybody check out Garuda. He's got a good channel too, Garuda Ghost. Good young content creator out of Europe. Check his stuff out. Done on quite a few collaborations. And that's where we're at, you know. Good to see you, One Fast Stack. We are literally watching a shit show. Now, all of us have been guilty of screens. Now, we're all going to have screens the rest of our life. That's just how society runs now. Unless you could be one of the very few that can go off the grid, live off a dumb phone or Morse code, and not just live in it, whatever. But it's going to be very extremely difficult. What we have to do is basically choose moderation. Start, reading books is a great thing as well. Hiking, getting out in public, walking around your neighborhood for an hour, just seeing things, using your own vision to look at nature's surroundings instead of a screen with ones and zeros. Some hairy Italian guy, yep, social media, best thing for me when you left it. Good for you. I take part in your channel because you're not asking for anything and you read our comments and interact with the viewers. If it gets too big, yeah, it ain't going to get too big. But this message is for everybody. We can actually interact and chat with each other and help each other through life through forums like this. So I'm appreciative of YouTube having a medium that we can communicate and help others. That's really what I'm in it for. What will be the end game for people who live for validation and likes? Lucas, it doesn't look good. Depression, head meds, medication, potential self-deletion. You're seeing that. There's a lot of these YouTube people that are losing followers and they take themselves out. They have literally put all of their validation into the hands of others. We talk about external validation. You don't seek it. If you seek it, you suffer. Carl in the house from the East Coast. Women today are more concerned with their social media status than their husband, kids, boyfriend, or extended family. Her social circle rules all. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Siat. We got Siat. Where's that? Awesome topic. Kudos for keeping it interesting, and social media can suck it. Did I read it right? You're right. Good to have you, Siat. Hey, brother Ghost. All is good. Yep. Got a new e-bike coming Friday. Can't wait to get out and hammock camp. Carl, what kind of e-bike did you get? They're really making some really cool ones. There's one called Derringer, like the pistol. Derringer cycles, and it looks like an old 40s motorcycle made into a electric bike. Watching The Thing. I like The Thing. Are you watching the old one or the newer one? Yeah, my life is chilled out and carefree right now. I put my time into my classic cars, eating well, working out, and looking after number one. Jeremy Bailey. Red pill for 300, Trebek. What kind of classic cars do you have over in England? I would be curious about what you guys consider classic cars over there, as if they were the same as ours. Are we talking Mustangs, or maybe your classic cars are Fiats or old Mercedes or something? Would love to see some pictures too. Appreciate you guys reaching out. Hey, Rad, what's your experience when traveling? I'm looking for greener pastures while I'm still young. Know the language and the culture. Have fun. Keep it chill. Don't go back to anyone's house. Don't bring anybody back to your hotel room. I would only say hang out with foreigners that are traveling as well. You don't know what can happen. Unless you have, if you're there for 3 days and you want to, boogie with someone and they happen to be locals, a lot of these locals, they look for travelers, and it doesn't end well for a lot of them. So just be careful. Take state authorized taxis or Ubers or something like that. But then you got to be careful about that as well. So just learn the language and the culture. Don't stay out too late at night. Be around public places and just have fun. Go somewhere where it'll test you. Call Me Coon is in the house. Check out his channel. He's growing too, brother. He's getting some views, which is great, which means another content creator is getting more information. Call Me Coon. Got great stuff. We've got some great content creators on this. Done a 90-minute walk this evening and 7 hours in on a 24. Good for you, Teddy boy. That 90-minute walk does wonders. So 60 to 90 minutes. clears your head, and it makes your body, you burn calories just by standing up. We'll always be outnumbered in a blue pill world, but we are growing. Garuda Ghost. Yes, sir. Lisa Smith, social media has turned us all into attention 304s to some degree. I would agree with that statement. Everything in moderation, right? Carl M. Can't recommend Portugal enough. We're talking Lisbon, Algarve. If you want to check it out, Eastern Europe. Take it from Carl. Build an off-grid cabin made out of pallets. Give that one a shot sometimes, fellas. All right, I love it. Matt Downer. Recommend me a good enduro mountain bike. Well, I don't know where you're at, but I like Norco. I'm a Santa Cruz guy myself. I know Giant makes some really good stuff. Even Trek. Check out some of that, Lucas. Is Vention really gone? I think Vention, his last video was he was actually on hospice. So if anyone knows what hospice is, basically they just take morphine and you're basically starving and dying. And considering that the fluid he had in his lungs, I don't think if he's still alive, he's not. He's just basically hasn't gone through the stages. Typically, hospice takes anywhere from 1 hour to 10 days. And but at least he won't be in pain because they give you morphine all day long. So it's a sad story about Vention. Good dude. I'm working on seeking external validation after learning the hard way. Social media would be a bad idea. The quickest way to depression? Social media. That is the quickest way to depression. Suffering, anxiety, and head meds. Don't do it. If I said, hey, if you said, man, I'm really hungry, I'll drink gasoline. I'd say, you don't want to drink gasoline. Kill you. Right? Or dirty water. That's social media. Rad, I got an Aventon Adventure Fat Tire bike. Ooh, good reviews, but customer service is lacking. Saving well over $1,500 compared to a similar bike shop. They are getting pretty expensive, aren't they? But good for you, brother. External validation is a learned behavior. Well said, Lucas. Instant gratification is the new currency in social media. I read this report, a Wolfpack Wealth in the House, in what way is social media messing up men specifically? Testosterone's lower, makes them complacent, lazy, unable to communicate. Porn is a big factor in that. And it makes them scared of women. So that's my own opinion. But anyhow, I read a report that, where was I going with this? Oh, instant gratification, that they're speeding up pop songs because the attention span, due to this instant gratification, the attention span has diminished. We hardly have any attention. So if you ever hear a pop song on the radio, listen to how fast it goes. I feel very relaxed. Good for you, brother. John Boston in the house. Good to see you. Never trust people if you are from another country and if you have more money than the locals. Correct. You want to go under the radar. Any brothers wondering about Vention, head to my channel. I just did an update. He's still with us. Ooh, good. Good. And his last video, it's been a few days, but I know he was going. Maybe I know someone that was on. I watched a show that someone went on hospice and they actually survived. So maybe we send all of our love and prayers to Vention and he makes it. Yep, no problem, brother. I encounter so many full-grown men and women that need to be assured from time to time. It's even with men. Guys in their 50s and social media that need attention. It's everywhere. It's a plague. That's the first Rona right there. It's destroying everything. And it's meant to get people addicted for that dopamine. If more men get off social media, that's how you know we're on to them. The Doghouse. Ooh, love it. Good to have you, brother. Where are you from? Even the hip-hop songs sound like they mumble. You're absolutely right, Robert. They got that little constantly. And a lot of the songs sound the same. They're fast. Usually their voices are really similar, right? And the tempo of their voice. But yeah, it's all about attention now. I mean, literally listening to some really good stuff like Rival Sons or Zeppelin or The Doors takes a degree of listening to really appreciate it. But now it seems like all the songs today and all the artists just have the exact same tempo, style, speed, you know, what have you. My kids like the rap hip hop culture, but every week there's a brand new artist that's really good, right? And then they make a McDonald's meal out of them. Sahil Taneja, where are you from? Yes, men don't need women, but what about our sexual urges? Well, that's not going away. You know, that's never going away. There are risks and rewards with modern day women, and you just have to be careful and vet them. You know, 98% of women are not recommended in RAD's playbook. 1 to 2% are. They're extremely rare to find, but they do exist. And even that you have to take into consideration relationship status. I'm not a believer in marriage. I'm not a believer in cohab, and I'm not a believer in these ridiculous garbage long-term relationships that bring no value. So typically most guys I counsel, you know, you probably want a very short-term fling. And once the dopamine wears off should be your indication that it's not going anywhere. And so you bounce. Brad, I was listening to the Scorpions. Love It First Thing was a good CD. I got that on my iPod, my friend. Big City Nights. Big City Nights, right? Big City Night. They're still going too. Can you believe that? Scorps. 15 years ago, people dated people on their own level generally. 9s would date a 9, a 5 would date a 5. The game has changed. Average men have been left in the cold. Well, I think that the dynamics have absolutely shifted where a 4 of a woman thinks she's a 10, and a lot of 9 guys will go with a 4 because of the thirst. So you're right. I'm glad that I deleted my Facebook in 2012 because it's too much drama in my opinion. Also, music today is not organic, just manufactured like fast food. Yep, it is. Again, if it's a very talented band, you have to really think when you listen to them. You hear the bass lines, you hear the lyrics, you hear how the bass drum is in sync with the bass, you know, the bass line. But today's modern music, just you don't need to think because it's all sounds the same. Lisa Smith. No wonder millennials don't like rock from our area. Motley Crue is too slow for them. I would agree. Yeah. Although their Motley Crue's very first CD or album was pretty fast. There isn't a day that goes by for when a song should simply tell a story. Listen to a classic rock. They get that job done. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody into Queensryche? Queensryche had, what was that, Operation Mindcrime? They had a CD that every song told a story. Interesting. Do you think that the red pill is more powerful in the USA than in Europe because the situation is different? I don't know. Good question. I know there's a shit ton of Europeans that come to this channel. Indians, people all over Japan, South America. I think it's good question. I think that men are slowly finding, the only reason a guy finds the red pill is on his own. You cannot recruit. In fact, me and Hammerhand had that discussion. You can't recruit to the red pill. You can't go up and tell someone what the reality of life is, the potential that they have that she doesn't love you. They won't believe that. It's only after they've been broken up, they want to get their ex back, that they literally stumble into channels like this. And they start hearing other people's, at first they're probably not going to believe it. You know, they'll probably stumble upon like a Sandman channel. They might not believe it. And they listen, they start reading the comments. Holy shit, that's like me. So it all depends. You know, I don't know. It might be more powerful in the US, but I think it's everywhere. I think no one really invented MGTOW. It existed and someone decided to form a group. Just think if there was no internet, there would be none of these forums. We wouldn't know what our brothers across the oceans were thinking. But it sounds like everyone's thinking the same thing. Imagine our world without social media. What would the world be like, David Castro? Be like it was in the 80s. A lot different. With the Aquanet, hair bands, Run DMC, Domino's Pizza jumped on the scene. People actually liked each other. Now it's just, why even like someone? Because you're a swipe away from a bigger and better option. That's the whole thinking. You're a swipe away from a better life. So how come nobody puts in any sort of loyalty, trust? Because that is the mentality of the modern day man and woman, especially the woman. She's just a swipe away from a bigger and better option. Rad, I played the whole CD, and I have wicked blisters on my fingers from my bass. There you go. Playing that bass guitar. Love the bass. Livewire, that's a slow love song. John Boston. Oh, Livewire is great. Early Motley Crue. Back when Mick Mars could move around. What's a good brand for learning a guitar, Robert A? I have a Fender. Fender and Gibson. You could get a Fender Strat, Mexican Strat for, I don't know, $600. Or go down to your local pawn shop. They've got lots of Fenders. People always pawn those because they need the money. You can probably pick one up for $300. And you don't need a lot. I mean, you can just redo the strings and that's it. So get a Fender Strat. Enter Sandman gets me pumped every time. Just want to go full guitar. Remember seeing Metallica in 1989, and boy, did that shake that building. That band gives 1,000,000% in every show they do. Silent Lucidity. There you go. Silent Lucidity. Men are simple creatures. All we want from a woman is a bit of booty, food in our belly, and a bit of peace and quiet, and a back scratch. Women's list of requirements are much longer and ever changing. Well, as long as you know that. For the 98%ers, yeah. Social media and dating apps have given average girl access to Chad, Bryant, and Tyrese, who are happy to smash and dash. Well, they know what they're doing. Even when they want the bad boy, they know the bad boy's not going to stick around. They still open their legs. And then he bounces, or he plays a Chad and Tyrone for 3 weeks, and that's it. They know what they're getting, right? No attention span. Grass is always greener, says Karuna. Correct. Good to have you. The 80s were a great time to be alive. I'm a Gen Xer. Me too. That just seemed to me like a lot of the life and living before social media seemed just richer in the sense that things were more present. You were more present in life. You got a CD from the store. Remember getting a CD or a cassette? You take the cassette liner out, and you'd read it, you'd spread it this long, and you'd read every little deal, and they had all the lyrics to the songs, and they had the history and the band members, and you just read it. You were so excited to get a CD or a cassette and read it. And now you just, download 15 songs. I would remember sitting in front of my cassette recorder. I had a dual cassette. You could record off the radio, or you could dub tapes and give them to your buddies. They bring you a Memorex tape or a TDK, and you just copy. Oh man, I want the new Colt. Okay, man, I just made a copy. Here you go. But I would sit in front of my stereo and literally play that tape physically. I would put it in and I would play it, and I liked that song. I'd rewind it again, and it was like you had a connection to it, right? Does anyone get my drift? You had a connection to that music, and when you went to Tower Records and bought that when Guns N' Roses came out, or it was sold out, and you got it and you went home, it was like, you had your Now and Laters or your Starburst candies, and you sit there and eat it while you listen to it for 3 hours. Gone are those days. And you fell into it. You loved it. Don't forget Jet City Woman. Great song, Matt. A world without social media, one thing for sure is when it comes to video games. Gamers have to go to the arcades to meet new people. That would help develop better social skills. Yeah, I remember going to arcades growing up. In fact, If you got straight A's, an A was like 4 tokens at the arcade. If you got a B, you got 3, a C, 2, and that was it. Pablo, spot on. We discovered the red pill once female nature slaps you on the face. Family law knocks you out, and you see most brothers been through hell at some time. That's when these folks get there. Well said, Pablo. Good to have you. Rado is pricing out another Rickenbacker bass. Holy cow, they are over 2K now. Late 70s and early 80s are going for huge money. Everything seems to go for huge money. And I remember the mixtape. Remember giving a mixtape to a girl back in the day? And you all had George Michael on that mixtape too. Actually, I'm a big fan of George Michael. I think he's a very talented musician. He plays all of his own instruments. That's the only type of musician I listen to that I would takes out the rocker in me, but he's very talented. Too bad he died. Female nature is real. Beware, brothers. Yes, it is. You 100% right, Pablo. Mixed tapes were my favorite. Brad, what do you think about men that claim they walked away from women, but they just pump and dump? For me, that doesn't make sense. Well, I think even pumping and dumping and smashing and dashing still allows some sort of control a woman might have in your life. Now, is that bad control? No. You decide, again, my whole stance, and I hope this should be everyone's stance, when you wake up, you decide that you don't want to repeat what got you here. That could be a marriage, that could be a divorce, that could be a horrible relationship. You also learn how men and women interact, and you see it from a different angle. We don't hate women. We understand women, and we understand ourselves and why we act the way we do. You decide with the knowledge and experience who enters your life and when they enter your life and what you do. You are the captain of your plane. You fly it wherever you want to go, and you allow which passengers you want. If you don't want any passengers, so be it. If you want a couple, so be it. It's up to you. That's how the game's played. But I think anyone that even thinks about women, especially, I know there's a lot of black pill incel folks, they give so much power to somebody else. Just bring the power back and say, hey, I'm cool with me. I'm going to go scale that mountain. I'm going to go ride my motorcycle. I'm going to go fix my classic car. If you want to entertain a gal, who cares? There's nothing wrong with that. It's how you go about entertaining that person. And what direction are you trying, or what are you trying to get out of that relationship? Are you trying to get her to love you? Are you trying to think that it's going to work or last? Those are big issues today. We don't live in a world where if a girl likes you, she's going to like you forever, and vice versa. So you have to vet the situation, and you have to decide what you want out of it. You can hang out with gals and not have feelings if you understand what those feelings are and where they come from and where they're going. It's just dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. Hey man, I'm from India, and I found out that my younger brother has lately started to watch a lot of prawn, and I know its consequences. Should I confront him or let him figure it out for himself? Ooh, well, you're a good brother, number one. It depends on what your relationship is like, but, I would just probably go up and say, there's a lot of guys today having massive issues watching porn. And I don't want that to happen to you. Use like an article from the internet or something about what it's doing to men. Go from there. But I'm happy that you're worried about him. Just today, a chick went and stand beside and body facing me while I'm dining out, and then a guy takes her away. That's par for the course, Lucas. That happens all the time, right? Timmy Kramer, the Forever Bachelor, just got home from San Diego. Washed up, sister's forerunner by hand. I'm old-fashioned, do everything by hand. Attaboy. I don't like car washes. I wash my own cars by hand. I don't feel like they ever get it done right. And I sure as hell don't like going to oil change places. I like doing those myself as well. Timmy Kramer, Forever Bachelor. Garuda Ghost, I think nothing is wrong with pump and dump, but then you did not walk away from women. End of story. There you go. Yeah, some folks that say, I'm not of the thinking that you just you just don't have a woman in your life because you just want to avoid all women. I have sisters, I have mothers, I have gals I work with, I have aunts, and I have an ex-wife I have to deal with. You just can't avoid it. I decide how they enter my life. I decide if I'm going to give them a ticket on my airplane. It's as simple as that. You're right, Garuda. Jasher M. I wish there were more 1980s style women because I would like to put her in an AMC Javelin. The old Javelin. AMC had the weirdest name cars. Javelin, Barracuda, Gremlin. What's another one they had? Oh, they had the weirdest name cars. American Motor Corporation. Jasher M. Where are you from, Jasher? Rapping about the relationship with your ex, part of the ex, breaking the family and cheating and divorcing, you would never think you wouldn't talk to her again. Correct? I try to just keep it only with what is in the divorce decree based on, at this point, I'm pretty much done. I got 20 months left until my youngest is an adult, and I really don't have to deal with her from then, if you think about it. So you're right, John. Wish more guys need to listen to what we've been through so they don't go through it themselves. I don't think I want love, just understanding on who I am and what I can do as a human being. Ooh, Mars, very well said. Understanding. Understand who you are and what makes you happy, because nobody can do it for you. And there's nobody that's going to love you back like you can love yourself. What a relationship. Women who claim MGTOW hates women are full of sheesh. They're just mad. They can't act like a petulant child around men all the time. Lisa Smith, you're absolutely right, Lisa. I don't hate women. Not at all. I choose how women enter my life now. I choose where I put my focus and energy, which is not in anybody else's hands, but my hands. And if I choose to hang out with someone, I'm going to choose to hang out with them based on my experience and my knowledge and what I know and where I want to be. You're absolutely right, Lisa Smith. I had an AMC Hornet. There you go. See, a Hornet. John Boston, 1973 AMC Hornet. All right. You want to talk cars? My first car was a 1969 Datsun 510. I paid $400 and $500 and I was 14 years old when I bought it, put a new engine, paint job, loved that thing. Car washes F up the finish. I enjoy washing my Jeep. It's a good time to reflect and contemplate. Atrocious. There you go, brother. And you can play your metal. Is there nothing better than washing your car and playing like Motley Crue or Rat blaring while you're washing it? It's the best. Chris Keller, hello, boys and girls, non-binary transgenders and simps. Good to have you, brother. What a world we're turning into, huh? And the weirdest color AMC Motors had when I was young, I checked their swatches and it looked crappy. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Somebody on that design team was whacked. And remember when the Ford Mustang turned into that ugly friggin' thing? It was like wider than it was long. Oh, see, was it the late 70s or early 80s Mustang? It's disgusting. But they did have weird colors. The biggest red flags in women is when they have short hair like a guy's haircut, Dave Castro. Very few women can get away with a cool short haircut. But you're right. Yep, been listening to Andrew Tate. You just need to choose carefully, Rad. Don't make any mistakes. Absolutely. Are you a pro skater? I think skateboarding and the red pill lifestyle is a perfect combination. I was never a professional, but I did compete in a lot of amateur contests back in the 80s. To be a professional skateboarder today, number one, you're washed up by the time you're 22 because there's a 13-year-old that can do everything better than you. Switch stance. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, 22-year-old skaters are great. The Ryan Shecklers and Paul Rodriguez, but there's 12, 13-year-old kids that are absolutely incredibly amazing. And they come out of, they're a newborn and they can do a kickflip as a newborn baby. That's how good they are. They also made the Matador. Oh my gosh, you got the Javelin, the Gremlin, the Matador, the Hornet. I'm surprised they didn't have the Joker, the AMC Joker. I always thought that Japanese cars run faster and corner better. I'm a fan of the Japanese car. I think they put a very good product together. Although Nissan is owned by the French now. 1996 is when the French company Renault bought Nissan. So don't buy a Nissan. Got a lot of problems with their production. If you go Japanese, I would Toyota or Lexus is the only place I go. AMC Rebel, Jasher M. Oh my gosh, AMC. What would the AMC be? It'd be like the Crocs of the automobile industry. Weird colors and styles. My first car was a Toyota Corona 70s model. I remember the Corona. Later I had a pea green Mercury Comet. I remember the Comets and the Coronas. I saw a Corona probably like 2 months ago driving. It was like a gold one. Total old school. Like it was probably what, 74? 75 Corona? Beautiful life. Gonna rent an electric bike at the beach tomorrow. How much do they rent for? It'd be fun to go ride bikes around, even the beach cruisers. Now, are you gonna ride the electric bike on the beach or just on the sidewalks? But then you can go post it on your Beautiful Life Facebook page, and we'll all give you big likes. I'm glad that you go out a lot. Beautiful Life is always at the beach and exercising, getting out in nature. In my opinion, the person who started the 12 and 13-year-old superstar phenomenon was Shaun White. You should look at Shaun White when he was 10 years old, when he was snowboarding. I'm telling you, the kid could drop in when he was like a week old. That's how good he was. He's almost like an alien. To be able to skate and snowboard the way he did. Now, I wasn't a big fan of his skateboarding. I didn't like his style. I mean, it was very technical. He wasn't a massive. I mean, he was good, definitely top tier pro, but I don't think, in my opinion, never made. He was an amazing snowboarder that nobody could beat, but in skateboarding, a lot of guys would beat him, and it had to do with some of the trick combinations and things like that. But I mean, the kid still ripped. Don't get me wrong, but he was a better snowboarder than skateboarder, and he excelled at skateboarding. But that's where we're at. Social media destroys men and women. They just do it differently. And it causes anxiety, causes head meds issues, it causes suffering, fatigue, mental fatigue. People walk away and they think they're worthless. All because ones and zeros on a screen they're seeking validation out of. Think about that. You're seeking validations on a graphical user interface that has ones and zeros and little emojis. Break it down like that. Never take a woman's advice. They're not equipped to handle men's problems. No, they're not. And we're not equipped to handle theirs. If you have problems, talk to your buddies. Never, ever talk to a lady. They're just not able to handle a man's emotional state like a man can. And women have friends that they can have their emotional discussions with. Brad, for me, it's 1:35 now. I'm going to sleep. Good to see you, brother. Hang in there. We'll see you again on the Rev. Brad, you reminded me of a funny car store. A friend of mine bought a new Chevy Beretta. I remember those. Those are actually kind of cool when they came out. And the salesman said to my friend that this was going to be the new Camaro Chevette. No, I remember the Chevette. My buddy had one. Or not the Chevette. The Beretta was actually, when it first came out, I thought it was all right looking. I don't think it lasted that long. But the Corvette, I don't know if you guys seen the new Corvettes, but oh my gosh, they're amazing. They look like Lamborghinis. But Chevy made some weird cars too. The Chevette. Remember that little piece of crap? Had like 3 cylinders. Biden is, I think you're right, Chris. Bought the car and the door on the Beretta fell off and he had to put the driver's side door in the back seat. I love it. So, that car was made on a Wednesday, hump day. Actually, it probably made on a Monday when they came back all friggin' hungover, the auto workers. They always say the joke was always buy a car like made on Thursday. I remember the legendary snowboard Jim Rippey even mentioned about Shaun White prowess and realized that his time was running out fast. Oh, what they do today is out of control. I mean, I grew up with Mike Estes. He rode for Barfoot. Craig Kelly. Craig Kelly was like the Tony Hawk, right? He rode for Burton. Radham ordering a $50 meal from Uber, smoking a Macanudo cigar, living the James Bond lifestyle, all without some SM and better off for it. Good for you, man. What $50 meal are you ordering for Uber? That sounds delicious. Doghouse, living the life. If you want to learn how to fish, talk to a fisherman, not a fish. Well said, Robert. And we got to remind ourselves like this, right? Got to remind ourselves. Men and women are different. We have different brains. We have different things that drive us. Do you think, Chris Keller, I won't repeat the rest. I think that, no, but I think she's whacked. I think the whole group is a bunch of wackos. I remember when those Suzuki Samurais came out. Wanted one so bad I could afford a Jeep Wrangler. Looked at the cool. I remember those Samurais came out. They were kind of cool. They had some really cool commercials. The thing was driving on the beach and stuff. You know what you say when you see an old junky Suzuki Samurai? My dad would always say, "Anyone die in that wreck?" But there you go. Suzuki Samurai. Rat Eye had a pic of it. The Beretta door fell off, and he was driving around with the door in the back seat. Can you imagine driving and people can see you driving? The cops pulled him over. Return to sender. And they did, the car makers in the 80s and 90s, actually 70s, 80s, and they weren't good. A lot of reliability issues. What body fat best is best to look best in the face? 10%, 8 to 10%. Trailer Park Boys. I like the Trailer Park Boys. I do wish they had continued that series. It's fun stuff. Darius M, Andrew Tate, Steph is Cold are good channels. I've watched Darius M. He used to go by Darius MGTOW about 3 or 4 years ago. He's helping the young guys, understand female nature, especially today's modern women that's 20, 21. How most of them have Instagrams and are constantly seeking attention and validation through social media posts. And it's not doing good for them either. If all you're good at is taking a picture of yourself with your mermaid hair flung around the wind, what else do you do besides constantly looking for outfits and makeup to make those pictures? I mean, you see where I'm going with this? It just seems like a very vacant life, very empty life. Living for the validation and attention of others is not the way to live. Chris Keller, is Myron Games legit, do you think? My honest answer? I don't watch him. Number one, he doesn't have any experience when it comes to what I've been through. And so I don't like listening to people that don't have experience going through a divorce, having kids, getting married, living with someone, living cohabiting. So you can't give me any advice on that from that aspect. You can't give me advice on dating because I don't believe in the game. Okay, the game is stupid. You are the game. The game is called confidence. So I think that a lot of guys like to listen to him and they think he's a baller and they pay for his stuff. Now, he's probably he probably wants to help guys. Whatever his desire is to make money out of it, that's his deal. But I don't watch him. I have watched a couple shows. I mean, Greg Adams was on that channel once, Biter Bachelor, and it's all the same. Every episode is the exact same with the same women with different hair colors. So you lose interest really quick. Julian, the one with the Cuba Libre, he's my favorite. Julian. Matt Danner. Yes. Rick, you have to get me some Rush tickets. You know he's going to play that Evan Trump Supple Bubbles is awesome. The Trailer Park Boys. Myron is I'm not going to disagree with that. Who is the bigger sim? You know what? You gotta at least give them kudos. They're building a brand. They put a lot of work into their podcasts, but I'm not their audience. Never will be. But again, what works for them in Miami might not work for you in Chicago. That's what happens. That Brittany Renner and her latest rant shows that she's on head meds. Of course. Someone say 1 out of 4 is on head meds. I'd say it's probably 40 to 50%. Carl, fresh even after his divorce. Was he even married? What's your body fat, Rad? It depends. It fluctuates from what I eat on the weekends. I don't know. Good question. I should check. I could see. Joking. Has joking worked for you? I don't know what joking is. FNF, like watching late night TV reruns, hoping you'll see something of it. Yeah, I don't see. Every now and again, I'll pop in to see how many, what they're late. It's always the same. I don't, and it's all, they all have these like thoughts on there, these escort types. It just, and I look at the women that are surrounding the microphones, and I'm like, oh, these women, they're all tatted up, they're all friggin', it's like a autocracy. It's crazy. So I don't find any value in it. I mean, I watch Coach Greg Adams every now and again. I'll tune into Sandman if there's an interesting topic. Better Bachelor every now and again. I used to watch him more. If I used to watch Red Pill Men's Health, Greg. Not as much, maybe once every couple of weeks to see what he's got. But mostly I watch Coach Greg Adams. I think he's funny as heck, and he's, he knows what he's talking about. He's been through the same things I've been through. Did you see everyone chanting, yes, I did? Yes. People are tired. They're tired. But guess what? We're dealing with a lot of millennials now that actually support the agenda. So they're the biggest demographic right now moving forward. They're the ones that have changed different names for different people, if you get my drift. They're the ones that encourage the hybridization of men and women's bodies, right? But that's fun. It's pretty damn funny when they chant that. Brad, this is all the social media guys need. Keep it up. Thanks, brother. And where are you from again, Doghouse? Kevin Samuel, CGA, RPM, Anthony Slade, Darius are all better black red pill creators. IMO. Yeah, Anthony Spade had a comment on my channel about a year ago, and he was calling me out on something, calling me an incel or something like that. He had some good stuff. But again, he's a young guy too. He hasn't been married or divorced. And but he's good for the younger guys out there, at least. It's all Instagram thoughts looking for more clout. Yes, atrocious. Yes. Nuts. You took the knee before my live stream like Colin Kaepernick. Good for you. Why are people chanting? That's interesting. Everyone's chanting it. Well, I think a lot of strong men watch football. It's a strong man sport. Typically has more types of Trump supporters than non-Trump supporters. Even MMA, same thing. MMA is a strong sport where you got to be strong as nails mentally and emotionally, and they don't want to be told what to do by the liberals. That's probably why they're saying what they're chanting. They're tired of the control. This generation is a Transformer generation, like the Transformer figures in the early 90s. The toys were always guys. Yes. Transformers, Optimus Prime. I'm from the East Coast, somewhere near Virginia. I'm checking out Vegas in a few days for the Fury Wilder fight. Can't wait. Awesome, brother. Awesome, brother. Yeah, MMA. I mean, Dana White said he's not going to require any of this vax crap. It was the first sporting event during the whole Rona, when they went out and got Fight Island or whatever that was. I mean, he's a badass. I mean, even Trump was at the MMA fight with was it Conor McGregor and the other guy? I mean, it's a man sport. It's where masculinity, but there's also a lot of simps, mental simps in MMA. But for the most part, most of them are pretty strong, masculine dudes. You have to be. Social media started the plague of the D-jugglers. Absolute's in the house. Check out Absolute's channel. Oh, here we go. Just caught you on live. Stay on, bro. Tomorrow, killer stream. We're going to have a killer stream tomorrow with Absolute on his channel. Transformers and Decepticons. There you go. A lot of Transformers today, right? They're not even toys anymore. They're human Transformers. The Transformers were and always will be in all boys territory, and Wheeljack is my favorite. Attaboy. Dana White is not playing politics with UFC. Gotta respect that. Hell yeah, you do. D-jugglers existed before dating apps, but they were shunned, exiled, and didn't want to be known as the town bicycle. Now forget it. Well, it's out in the open now. I mean, the thoughtocracy, the thoughterry is out of control. It's out of control. In fact, even having affairs they don't even hide them anymore. Ghosting. Disposable relationships. It's all based on social media and the effect of social media. Hefe Salcedo is in the house. My last channel comment about the Pope but not post in the chat. Interesting. Again, if it worked, then why would you care about the people that did not receive it? Let the people that did not receive it go mix with others that didn't and suffer the effects. But no, it doesn't work. There's a lot of agenda behind it. We know what it is. And it really has nothing to do with what's in that little bottle. The bottle is nothing. It's what the bottle represents. It's what that little 3-inch piece of metal that goes into a vein represents. That's all it is. It's an agenda. Sub to Call Me Coon, love the channel name alone. Looks like you've got good content from the video titles. He's got great stuff, man. Check Call Me Coon out. Basically, what's happened in the world now is the Decepticons took over, and Optimus needs that kit before he can't sweep these bums out of there. It's just like that doghouse. Laying it down in Chinatown. Love it. We need more Captain Americans like Randy Couture. Hell yeah, we do. Why would you invest in a modern female knowing how easily she can find a new digging stick? You got to know what you're getting into. That's, guys that continue to invest in the modern day relationship are going to suffer in the end. Can't fix stupid, right? I love that BLM is calling the poke the R word now. Interesting. It's like infighting. Yeah. We'll see what happens. In the past, if a man said he was a lady, he was locked up and given help. Now he's encouraged to slice them off and is put on front of U.S. Weekly. Ooh, is that not the case, Teddy Boy Smith? No, or wins the award, the ESPN award. That's ridiculous. WebM aristocrat based. You mean based or biased? Do you think more women versus men took the... Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they have faith. By nature, more women are more fearful. Joy Reid, Kamala Harris, and the rest should shut up about the Pope. They were against it last year. And Don Lemonade, that dude, I don't like that dude at all. As I support Trump when Trump called him what did he call him? The dumbest newscaster on TV or something like that. The dumbest reporter on TV. Don Lemonade. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're dealing with. I mean, can you imagine if you were still plugged in to blue pill conditioning? A lot of guys would take that. But most guys aren't taking it. Does anyone think that the poke is like the mark of the beast, says David Castro? Absolutely. But it's really not the poke. It's what the poke represents, which is, again, distraction leads to fear. Fear leads to control. Control leads to tyranny. That's what's going on. We started with distraction, then we went to fear, then we're in the control phase, and we're almost to that end goal. I think you're right, brother. Don Lemonade is a reptilian. Such a puppet, says Robert. Everything woke turns to shiz. It's not the way to go. It's not the way to go. Go woke, go broke. People are standing up. I just saw today in Australia that they're revolting against the mandates or the lockdown. People are having enough. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. There's still a vast majority of blue pill simps out there investing endlessly in baloney, pony smugglers. This world is a joke to me already. There's still good in the world, you know. I still have to think that once I can't ride my bicycle up the hills or hike or get my Diet Mountain Dew every day, then I'll say it's over. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're getting closer to what we just talked about, to the tyranny of life. And that is not a happy thought. What do you think the percentage of R pill versus blue pill thinking are, says Cameron? Blue pill thinking for 95%, red pill for 5%, Trebek for 300. I think it's 5%, if not, it's probably 1% red pill. Who knows? But it's blue pill is completely wins that award. You see it on television. Now, are more and more men finding out? Sure. There's more and more articles you're seeing being written in TV shows about this kind of crap. There's more and more men that are opting out. You know, Kevin Samuels is getting big. Kevin Samuels, even though, you know, I love a lot of his stuff. I love it how he's basically holding accountable a lot of these gals and the way they think. And I think that's important. He's also a believer that relationships could work. They could work if the gals would understand what he was talking about, that they are the co-pilot, not the pilot, that they're wasting their time thinking that they're princesses when they're not. So, yeah, that's the story. Jasser M, is there such thing as the pink pill? I've never heard of the pink pill. I've heard of red, blue, and black. Black pill is they're more of the looks maxing people that believe that looks, that women only look at looks. But good question. I think the pink pill is a combination of being blue pilled and red pilled. Well, I mean, if you really want to put it in perspective, getting married would be considered blue pilled, right? So Rollo Tomasi, who spouts red pill philosophy in the Rational Male, would then be considered pink pill. So all I know is that if you're out, you got to walk the walk if you're going to talk the talk. That's my whole deal. Red. It was called Red Pill Woman. We'll check that out. Cameron. I'm already looking to the next generation. I'm just going to get filthy rich and maintain a harem of sugar babies. Maybe clean badge will be the norm. Pink pill is basically the black pill for women. Pink pill women are incels. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Isn't it red pilled and white pilled? Bolo in the house. Don't know. Maybe. Yeah, what would blue and red make? Green? Yeah, pink and white. Red and white would make pink. Just finished Coach Greg 2.5 stream, then the 3-hour morning stream. I watched his I watched the one this morning. I'll watch the other one later. But I do it on like 2x. If you watch Greg Adams on 2x, it's even more funnier. Purple pill is red plus blue. Can't keep up with the streaming of Coach Greg. He's got a lot of content. You just got to watch it in 2x. 2x, my brother. I don't really watch him live because I really can't do it on 2x. But that's reality, right? A lot of content out there. So you got to pick and choose who you like to listen to. And I listen to a lot of guys. I mean, I stumble across guys, young guys, older guys. Brad takes his red pill every day, right? But I've been doing it for so long that it's just part of my nature. But I'm also susceptible to. There's a lot of charming ladies out there, that's for sure. But I decide how they enter my life if I want them to. Lucas Hong, there's a girl I like, got inked after her breakup with her boyfriend for 4 years. Why, Rad? The pain. She must have liked the pain from the needle. She maybe wanted attention from new people. Or maybe she wanted, did she break up with her boyfriend? Could be a start to something. Women do crazy things after a breakup. The problem I have with Kevin is that he pushed marriage. That's not working for modern men. Yes. All a woman have to do is get bored to start messing around. All else could be fine. Just that one thing. I would agree. Yeah. I think that he likes to keep him accountable, but he still has that blue pill thinking that it will work. I'm from the biggest, filthiest city out there. Believe me, these girls are juggling multiple poles a week. Absolutely. 2x CJ on the weekend binge is what I do. That's what I do, Robert. Biden is China's doormat. Oh, yes. And guess who's getting prepared for that? Remember what China's doing right now? They're getting rid of all the effeminate boys. Everything on television. They're hunkering down. They're seeing the effects of weak men. I'm going to watch that divorce court. Watch it. I watched it about 4 years ago. MGTOW Cowboy in the house. Starting to get cold at night. Yes, last night was a little cold here in Utah. 3 holes and fresh cooked meals. GTFO, virgin and barefoot laundry also. There are decent women out there that want to be the co-pilot, but they're very, very rare. 1 to 2%, I would say. The rest, not recommended. Not recommended. Guys have been great. Rebel against defeat, chase excellence, masculinity, men first. Remember, social media destroys men and women. Think about that.